Good day, everyone. Today we will discuss about the introduction to statistics. Now, this is the first topic for our finals coverage. Now, in connection to this with our previous discussion in midterm, so diba, mathematics could be referred or could be categorized according to its use. For example, mathematics for organization, then mathematics for prediction, and for the third one is mathematics for control. Now, in mathematics for organization, that could solely refer or that could pertain to, most especially, to statistics. Okay, this is an overview of statistics. Now, in statistics, we will discuss solely about data. So, statistics, kailangan mo dyan siya data. So, let us first define what is data. So, data consists of information coming from observations, counts, measurements, or responses. So, in short terms, data could be any information that you could use. So, information that you could get through observation, counts, measurements, etc. For example, information like the list of students. So, that could be data, because that is information. Another is, for example, the ages of your students, mga edad sa mga estudyante, that could be data. Also, the phone numbers of their parents, that could be data. The phone number of your ex, that could be data. So data again could be any information that you can acquire or utilize. Now let us formally define what is statistics. Now, statistics is the science of collecting, organizing, analyzing, and interpreting data in order to make decisions. As what I have mentioned, mathematics for organization. So the important keywords there that we need to understand is that statistics is, in short term, it is making use of the data in order for us to make a valid decision. Like, for example, you want to know, you're going to a prom. JS prom kunuhay. You're going to a prom. Then, you do not know, or you are naglibog pa ka sa imong suoton. So, you may conduct a statistical study in order for you to decide which outfit that you'll be going to in the prom. So, you conducted a survey to your friends in sa ilang ganahan ng imong suoton. And then, from that survey, you can already make your decision. Now, that could be considered as a statistical study. A very simple statistical study, but that will do. Okay, in statistics, we will mainly we shall consider about population or sample. Now, ang population is the collection of all outcomes, responses, measurements, or counts that are of interest. For example, the students you are conducting a study, and your study focuses on the students of Jeremy de Polo campus. So that students of Jeremy de Polo campus could be your population, because they are your point of interest, or the group that you are considering in your study. Now, as for the sample, it is defined to be as the subset of the population. So, ang sample, this could be, so if your population is the students of Jeremy de Polo campus, then your sample would be a subset man, so meaning mas gamay. So that your subset could be students from the department or the College of Education. So the students of the College of Education is a sample, since it is just a subset of the population, which was all the students of Jeremy de Polo campus. Now let us have other examples of sample. Now, sample, for example, in our class. So let us consider our class as the class having 50 students as the population. Now, your sample would be, if I select 5 students from that 50 students, so that would be considered as a sample. Kay kinuha raman siya gikan sa population. So therefore, a sample is just part of the population. Mas gamay ra ang sample kay kinuha raman siya gikan sa population. Okay, I have here an example. In a recent survey, 250 college students at Union College were asked if they smoked cigarettes regularly. 35 of the students said yes. So identify the population and the sample. So as what I have discussed earlier, so ang population is tanan, di ba? So your population from that given would be tanan man. So it should be all the students or the responses of all the students at Union College. So tanang estudyante sa Union College is your population, while your sample is just the responses of the students in the survey. So pila naman ka ba kayo mag-survey? So you surveyed 250 college students. So your sample is the 250 college students. So ano sa gamitan ng 35? So 35 is 35 are the number of students who said yes. So meaning ang nabilin ato ni answer sila og no. So still your sample is the 250 college students, while your population is katong tanang estudyante sa Union College. Now we have these two terms, parameter and statistics. Now let us discuss each of them. So a parameter is a numerical description of a population characteristic. For example, in the students of Jeremy C. Dipolog campus has, let's just assume that has an average grade of 1.5. Assuming lang ha, 1.5. So that 1.5 describes the average grade of all the students of Jeremy C. Dipolog campus. So therefore, that 1.5 average grade is a parameter, since it is a description or a numerical description that describes the population, which is the students of JRMSU Dipolog campus. Let's take a sample from the population. For example, students from the College of Education. So the average grade of the students from the College of Education is 1.3. So 1.3. So that 1.3 only describes the sample, which is the students from the College of Education. Meaning, so tawag ato. So that 1.3 there is our statistic, since it only describes our sample, which was the students of the College of Education. So in definition, statistic is a numerical description of a sample characteristic. Okay, let's have another example. For example, in my class, the average grade of my class, of the students in my class, is, let's say, 90. So that is 1.5. So the average grade in my class is 90. So therefore, that 90 could be our parameter, since it describes the population, which is the total number of students in my class. For example, I'll pick 5 students from my class, and their average grade is 85. So that 85 is our statistic, since it only describes the sample, which was the 5 students. Again, parameter describes the population. Sample describes, or the statistic describes the sample. So we have here this diagram: parameter for population, statistic for sample. Now also we need to keep in mind that statistic here only pertains, remember tanawa, wala siya S. Statistic only pertains to the numerical, or it is only defined as a numerical description of a sample. So meaning it only describes the sample. Pag nalagyan siya S, this statistics, that could refer to two things. Our topic, which is statistics, or statistic nga plural, na siya duha ka numerical description that describes the sample. So keep that in mind. So we have here an example, or let's see examples, and let's decide whether the numerical value describes a population parameter or a sample statistic. So ito ang identify. Okay, for the first one, A recent survey of a sample of 450 college students reported that the average weekly income for students is $325. So let's identify. Unsa man ni siya? Is this a population parameter or a sample statistic? Okay, because the average of $325 is based on the sample, so from the given, so ingon man siya, a recent survey of a sample of 450 college students reported that the average weekly income for students is $325. So nagpertain naman to siya sa sample, which was the 450 college students. So therefore, kanang $325 is a sample statistic, or simply a statistic, because it only describes our sample, which was the 450 college students. Okay, for letter B. Now, the average weekly income for all students is $405. Saan mo na siya? Is that a population parameter or a sample statistic? So that is a population parameter, because ingon man siya, the average weekly income for all students is for all students is $405. So therefore, that pertains sa population, which is all the students. So therefore, that is a parameter, or a population parameter. Now we have here the branches of statistics. The study of statistics have two major branches. So it could be descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So gikan sa statistics, it falls under two categories or two branches. It could be descriptive statistics or inferential statistics. So sa descriptive statistics involves organization, summarization, and display of data. Just merely the display of data. Whereas sa inferential involves using a sample to draw conclusions about a population. Again, sa descriptive, igora siya, gagather og data, organize og data, nag-summarize og data, and then gi-display niya ang data through graphical presentations like mga bar graph, pie graphs, line graphs. Basta yarang i-display ang data. Pag man niya gather, yarang display. Muna na siya. Muna siya, sir. Muna. So, sa inferential, ang kalainan sa inferential is that nag-involve siya sample, nag-kuha siya sample to draw a conclusion about a population. So, meaning, sige, let's have an example. So, sa inferential statistic, for example, I have 50 students in my class. So, from that 50 students, I selected 10 students. And their average midterm grade is 75. So, therefore, I can conclude that in my entire class, I got 50 students sa tanan. Therefore, I can conclude nga they are their performance is poor. So, naka-conclude lang ko na gikan lang sa 10 students, which was a sample. So, gikan sa 10 students, I concluded to the entire 50 students that the performance is poor just based on the 10 students. Now, that is inferential statistics. Now, let's discuss the data classification. Now, mainly data could be classified as quantitative or qualitative. So, this is, you are very common with this, or you are familiar with these two terms already in your research. So, it could be, again, it could be qualitative or quantitative. So, unsay kalainan sa duha? So, quantitative, from the term itself, quantity with letter N. So, we have this diagram. So, data could be qualitative or quantitative. So, sa qualitative, so this consists of attributes, labels, or non-numerical entries. Basta walay value. So, that falls under qualitative data. Sa quantitative, consists of numerical measurements or counts na ay value ang number. Although sa qualitative data, pwede mo siya magamit og numbers. Pwede siya magamit og numbers. Ang kailangan wala value. So sa qualitative data, example for qualitative data could be cell phone number. Diba? Your cell phone number is, of course, a number. So number na siya, pero dili na siya ma-fall under quantitative because, ano naman? Because wala siya value. Parehara po ni X, wala value. So, qualitative data consists of attributes, labels, or non-numerical entries. Although it can contain numerical entries, pero kailangan walay value. Other examples of qualitative data nga nagamit og numbers. For example, your ID number. Diba? ID number. So, dili na siya quantitative kay na number. That is still qualitative because wala siya value. It cannot be measured. Ang sa quantitative, kailangan na siya value para ma-measure siya. Also, qualitative data could be any entries or any information or any data nga imong mag-gather. For example, name of your students. That is qualitative data. Okay, ikaw na siya label, ngalan. Other examples is address. That is qualitative data. Like other examples, brand sa cellphone. So, label gyapon. That is qualitative data. While sa quantitative data examples, your grade, your grades, your average grade. The number of houses in your barangay. So, that is quantitative data. The number of students in Jeremy Dipolog campus. That is quantitative data. Basta yung the number of kadalasan or most likely that is quantitative data. For example, the grade point average of 5 students are listed in the table. Which data are qualified data, qualitative data, and which are quantitative data? Sige, from the table, may qualitative ana. So, ang qualitative data are qualitative, quality. So, kanang names. The names of your student. That is your qualitative data. While your quantitative data are the GPAs or grade point average. So, muna na siya. So, we have here the levels of measurement. Now, the levels of measurement, we have 4. Nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Now, in the diagram, we have here the levels of measurement. Nominal being the lowest, and ratio being the highest. So, from ratio, nominal, muna pinakaubos, padong sa ratio, muna pinakataas. Okay, data at the nominal level of measurement are qualitative only. So, ang nominal, it is only qualitative. So, it is calculated using names, labels, or qualities. No mathematical computations can be made at this level. So, ngalan lang, mga ngalan, label, ngalan sa imong mama, ngalan sa imong papa, ngalan sa imong ex, X, o others. Wala siya mathematical computations. Dili siya ma-compute. So, still, it is qualitative data. Now, sa ordinal, the ordinal level of data, it could be qualitative or quantitative. So, pwede sila dua. So, you can arrange in order, but differences between data entries are not meaningful. Meaning, for example, class standings, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So you could arrange that in order, diba? Freshman being first year, senior meaning my fourth year. So from first year to fourth year. So you can arrange that. Pero ang differences between each of them cannot be determined, or it is not meaningful. It is just an arrangement of information. Also, numbers of the back of each player's shirt. Kanang mga numbers sa likod sa basketball players. You can arrange them, but you cannot, or the entries between them or the differences between those numbers are not meaningful. Kaya sa may gamitan na pa yung i-minus na ilang numbers may makuha nimo. So wala. So it is not, the differences between them is not meaningful. Now for the interval level of measurement, so these are quantitative. So quantitative na ta with letter N. So a zero entry simply represents a position blah blah blah. The scale is not on. So interval, so it could be arranged in order. The differences between the data entries can be so di ani na makalculate na nato ang differensya between the two. Example, temperature. So temperature, for example, ganinang buntag mga 20 degrees Celsius. Then pagka-auto nahimuon ng mga 30 degrees Celsius. So you can compute the difference, di ba? Years on a timeline. Na-compute ba mo? Also, Atlanta, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's continue. Now, for the ratio, this is the highest level of measurement. So, a ratio of two data values can be formed. So, one data value can be expressed as a ratio. Kailangan po mag-ratio. Like 1:1, 1:2. So, examples of these are ages, grade point averages, and pwede po weights, pwede po heights. Kabahala. So we have here the summary. To sum it up, nominal, put data in categories, yes. Pero dili mo arrange, dili mo subtract, o pwede po dili mo ma-determine if one data value is a multiple of another or ratio of another. So sa ordinal, we can put into category, ma-arrange siya, pero dili nimo makuha ang diferensya, walay meaning ang diferensya. While sa interval, ma-put into categories, yes, yes, yes. So interval, you can put into categories, arrange data in order, and you can determine the difference, or the difference is meaningful. And lastly, for the ratio, naa siya tanan. So sa ratio, pwede nimo i-categorize, pwede nimo i-arrange, pwede nimo ma-subtract, kaya na may meaning ang ilang value. Na may meaning ang ilang difference. And you can also determine if one data is a ratio of the other. Simple as that.